You want to know why we're terrible at spotting lies? There is a theory right now in psychology that's called default to truth. Simply put, when communicating with new people or older people that we've known our entire lives, we don't assume that these people will be lying to us about anything. We assume that the average person talking to us will be telling us the truth if they're telling us something about themselves or telling us something about their lives. We would assume, especially if they are relating to what we already believe, that they are telling us the truth. Towards the end of this video, I'm going to ask you a question that shows you how this works. But as of right now, I want to give you some examples of how it works. Why this phenomenon in the brain can be very dangerous if you don't catch on to it. For those of you who don't know this man, this is John Wayne Gacy. This man was responsible for the murder of over 30 boys in the 1970s and 80s. What's really fascinating about John Wayne Gacy is that a lot of people in his life, when the trial came out or when they figured out what he was, still defaulted to truth. They didn't believe that John Wayne Gacy was a bad man. There were police officers, politicians that were fighting to protect this man's name without even realizing what he was. By this time, I'm pretty sure you guys know who this man is. This is Ted Bundy. Y'all know what he was responsible for. But what's really interesting about Ted Bundy is at the trial, there were women that knew what he had did or knew what he was being accused of, still trying to date him because they didn't believe that a man that looked like this would ever do anything like that. They believed him when he said he was innocent. They were defaulting to truth. Both of these examples are people who are defaulting to truth on people who are actually terrible people. So if we have been convinced that a person is not bad, or we have been convinced that a person has done good throughout their entire life, we will default to truth when it comes to these people. Here's the big question I want to ask you, okay? Think of somebody in your life that you admire more than anyone else. Somebody you could never imagine to do something bad. I want you to try to imagine that person doing something terrible, unaliving somebody, essaying somebody. If you couldn't fathom the person you're thinking about doing something like that, that is your default to truth. Because truth be told, we are all capable of doing terrible things. To assume that any human is not capable of doing something terrible is a default to truth. I'm going to make a part 2 to this because there's so many more examples as I can give, and I think this would be very helpful for people out there. So if y'all want more, let me know. Stay woke.